Ladies and gentlemen, Crown of Thoughts. I'm your host, Double A. Gang is swatting shit around over there. Wow. So there I was. Walls surrounding me. Drowning in a sea of nothingness. Took things a little too far one night. Fell over in the corner of the house for a couple of hours. Got up. I'm like, it was a little much for me. So, there I was. Something got to change, man. You can only go so far in one direction. A couple days later, met someone at the bar. After hanging out with them for a while, quit drinking. Quit other shit, but that was the story I was saying. I was just trying to leave out the details in the beginning there. Not everyone needs to, but yeah, I quit a bunch of other shit. I met someone at the bar, eventually quit drinking. So there I was, but so I was running off this fucking high with this person, broke up. So now here we are, left back to my own devices. I was already clean for X amount of time. I'm like, I just fucking keep rolling with it, man. So I did. There I was, man. Trying to, against all odds, trying to piece my life back together. A little bit of heartbreak, a little bit of stimulant withdrawal. And so I thought you just like sleep this shit off. I'm like, there ain't no fucking, there's only withdrawal with like alcohol or dope or some shit like that. But no, I fucking look it up. Like fucking 4 or 6 months of severe depression and anhedonia, which means you're like incapable of being happy. So you feel like a bunch of nothingness or despair 24/7 for fucking weeks or months even, everyone's different. I didn't know this shit, so I started to go insane. And I'm like crawling out of my skin, fucking sober, not accustomed to feeling emotions, like what I just said. So I'm sitting there going insane every fucking day, pacing around, shaking. I couldn't stop. Picked up cigarettes. I'm not a big cigarette guy, but I started smoking a pack a day. Flipping that fuck out. Started consuming lots of sugar in my diet. Soda and shit. I don't fuck with soda. But I do now, I guess, for now anyways. Started on that shit. And so, yeah, I'm going insane. Cannot fucking be happy for 2 minutes in a day. Everything's fucking gloomy and gray and just nothingness. And I thought, man, there's something fucking wrong with me. I should not be, I shouldn't be feeling like this, man. I ain't go through that much shit. But so I looked it up on psychology. I watched a bunch of psychology videos. I always do. And I came across pharmacology with Doc Snipes. And where I learned how severe this condition was. My brain, like all the happy shit was sucked out of my brain. and it says like, I don't know, remember the fucking, I think hypothalamus is one of the, I don't know what's what, but like one part of your brain starts to shrink over time and another part starts to grow over time. And basically the part that makes you happy starts to shrink, and the part that gives you like anxiety and stuff like that starts to grow. So it's not just psychological, it's actually physical. What's going on in your head. I never imagined it would get that fucking dark. And so I understand now. You know, how someone feels, like not a weekend warrior type, but like a daily fucking use shit. Over time, your brain starts to get fucked, to make a long story short. And so I'm like, I don't know what to do. I gotta fucking get help or some shit. And so I went to see a therapist, and I'm like, the anxiety is so fucking severe, and I overreact to every little thing in life, and I can't, and my mind just, it always tries to find the, you know, I said this in the actual Crown of Thoughts episode 6. Watch that shit. My mind will seek out the most horrible thing to think about and think about it. And it's almost like I'm not in control of it. So I tell this to the therapist. And so here's like the ruminating thoughts, part 1 and 2. Watch those ones as well. It's like I was literally trying to think my way out of the ruminating thoughts. And a part of me knew that was pointless, but I just had no other way to try to deal with it. I only had the tools that I had in my head at the time to use to try to figure out the ruminating thoughts. I've now figured it out. She's like, you've been under a constant state of stress for extended periods of time, and you didn't know how to cope. So your brain, and after like experiencing anxiety constant for long periods of time, and it starts to break you down, and your brain's like, yo, we're not fucking winning this war, man. We're shutting off. So your brain just starts to shut off. And that's when the depression kicks, because it's just like, bro, there's no fighting this fucking shit. Let's just, we're done. But what she said is, I went into a state of hypervigilance, and basically, so, you know, with all the stress, I'm trying to figure out, like, I got to protect myself and shit from all this whacked out shit. And so basically, and in the particular situation I brought up, I had just overwhelmed myself, wondering, you know, what's going on with this one situation, and it just took me out. And I'm like, is this something, like, was this my own insecurities that took me out like that? Or was it actually true? Or was it actually relevant to the situation? Was it actually relevant? Or, you know, was I correct? Or was it not correct? But, you know, whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? So what she said was, I'm speculating. So the ruminating thoughts and the fact that I'm always thinking about the worst fucking shit possible is because I'm in a state of alertness, stress, a constant state of stress, and I'm trying to look out for different things that might fuck with me, and I'm speculating. I'm speculating, like, what's really happening? What are they really thinking? What's really going on? I don't know. I don't trust this shit. Blah, 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 blah. And the speculation is me scanning the area for fucking threats. I'm scanning for threats. So in order for me to know everything's okay and nothing's going to come after me or hurt me, I have to start speculating on what could possibly happen in my surroundings so I can prevent it. And so that's why my brain would come up with worst case scenarios so I could protect myself. And so I would speculate what kind of scenarios could occur and scan for threats. That's the fucking ruminating thoughts. Bitch. I've been trying to figure that out forever. She said it like instantly. That's the ruminating thoughts. And so the goal now was to, she's like, breathe, slow down, breathe deeply, try to focus on what's actually happening. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? So whatever else is going on, it's like I can't do shit about it. I can only do shit about right now, like what's actually happening around me in my fucking environment. That's the only thing that's real. I couldn't possibly know what else is happening. It's all speculation. So there I am. So I just got hit with all this shit. Took me out, knocked me down. I'm standing back up. I'm like, what the fuck, man? So I'm trying to figure this out, and basically conquered substance abuse, alcoholism, a breakup, and tried to put my life back together instead of just becoming a resentful, angry bitch. All simultaneously. So I got hit with all these fucking emotions. I just took it all at once. And it went on for months, man. And it was like, I'm just now coming out the other end of the tunnel. It was so bad. It was terrifying, man. I just break down. I went through all kinds of different shit, man. If I was crawling out of my skin, I would text people like, I can't do this no more. I don't know. Tell me what the fuck's going on, blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm freaking the fuck out. The way my brain went straight down the shitter, man. And I could not control it. Like I said, there was one day I remember, because I would pace around the house the whole day, the whole time. Every day. I'd get home from work and just pace. Smoking my pack a day of fucking cigarettes. Ugh, disgusting shit, man. Well, I remember the one day, though, I sat still on my couch for 15 minutes. I'm like, I'm getting better. Would you imagine? Because you were able to sit still for 15 minutes after a couple weeks of going insane. Thinking, oh my God, this is a super improvement. I remember I cleaned my house under the extreme anxiety where I couldn't sit still. I had cleaned my house. I bought some things to make myself feel better. I started engaging in what I was told was called self-care. That just sounds fucking stupid. I started taking care of myself. Just for whatever reason, I bought like I threw all my socks away and bought all new packs of socks. New clothes, shit like that. I don't know. I'm just fucking trying to do shit. There was a tree growing out of my front porch. A fucking tree growing out of my front porch. And I'm like, this shit's nuts, man. So I cut the tree down, took it out by the roots. Said hi to my neighbors while I was doing that. You know. They passed me the blunt, put me in rotation. Nice of them. While I'm cutting this fucking tree down. Then I had tree shit all over my porch. I'm like, I'll figure it out later. So I just threw branches and a cut up entire tree on my porch. Went inside, and then the burro comes. they're like, you got fucking tree on your porch and on the front sidewalk. And I'm like, well, I see that you guys got a little cage thing in the back of your little truck thing. It's got like lawnmowers and what do they call that? Like landscaping shit. Can I throw this tree back there? Because I don't fucking know where to put it. And they're like, yeah. But they were actually there to complain about all the cigarette butts that were on the sidewalk. Not from me. Not from me. They're like, the neighbors have been flicking cigarette butts out there. This shit got to stop. We're going to clean all this shit up. We're going to let them know. And I'm like, dude, I had a fucking tree growing out of my porch. Do you care about that? They're like, yeah, well, you're doing the right thing. Fucking yeah, right. They probably went to the cigarette butt people and they're like, dude, this guy had a fucking tree growing out of his porch. What the fuck with this town? We just can't win. They're not paying their state taxes or their borough taxes or whatever the fuck. We're dead. There's a fucking tree growing out of this dude's shit. All kinds of nonsense happening. But making improvements, making constant improvements. Got the clean house, the new clothes. I'm clean. Emotions are out of fucking control. I don't know. Like, that's just something I had to deal with. But I was starting to realize some shit. And I like isolated myself to like a room in the house. It was like I barricaded myself, like the zombies were coming for me. My friend said I went into a state of psychosis or something, but I don't know if that's true. It was wild, man. It was pretty fucking wild. And so I cut some branches down in the backyard, got rid of that shit. I took out mad trash bags full of shit from the entire house, cleaned that shit all up, kept trucking along, said, fuck it. I don't care how depressed I get. So that was the symptoms. I don't even know if I fucking said it. I probably did. The withdrawal symptoms were like, yeah, I did say it. They're like 6 months severe depression and shit. I didn't know that. So I'm like, I guess this shit's going to hit me. I'm just going to take it. So I let it all fucking hit me at once. And I conquered that shit. I murdered that shit. Daily drinker, daily user. Like overnight, bam, fuck that. Right now it's been like 5 months and I'm starting to feel like I'm really good in comparison, at least, to what was going on. And so how did I do that? Well, first, kiddos, I educated myself. Knowledge is power. I educated myself. I'm like, you know what, man? I don't know what's going on. I'm going to find out what's going on. Figured that shit out. And once you realize what's going on, now you can assess how you want to deal with it. Or how you can deal with it. So then I had to formulate a plan. So here's my previous life is just chaos. Just excitement, energy, chaos, whatever the fuck I want to do, I'm doing it. Don't fucking try to stop me. A fucking hurricane of madness. Now, everything's fucking boring. I don't know what the fuck to do. And I'm watching more self-help shit. And it's like, well, one guy said, nobody's successful whatsoever unless they got some kind of routine. And I'm looking at my days and there's nothing to them. There's no specific thing. It's just like I'm locked up and overwhelmed and stuck. And it's like, all right, bro, you fucked up. Just admit that. First of all, admit it. You fucked up. So here you are, and you got to fix this shit. And I got enough momentum from the anxiety and depression to kickstart myself. Boom. So I'm running forward. I'm like, I need something to do. And walking is a simple thing. If you need something to do, and like walking, man, walking is super fucking easy to do. So I'm like, there's a place called Cowsler Park, and it has this trail, and you walk around it, and it's like 1 3/8 mile per lap. So now every single day I have off work, I take 3 to 5 laps. So that's like a bunch of miles. So I started doing that. I'd get up and be like in the depths of despair. And I'm like, yeah, I know what I can do. I can drink some pre-workout and go walk that fucking park. And so I started walking that park, and I would do all my thinking there. And I do all my thinking there. So, you know, first couple weeks walking there, I was thinking some horrible, rotten shit. And it's just tearing me to shreds. And I'm like, well, with the anxiety that these thoughts are causing, I can keep walking even more. I kept walking every single morning. And I noticed during those walks, my thoughts kept getting better and better and more autonomous and more wholesome and more useful, more helpful. Because now I'm thinking in terms of helpful and not helpful instead of right and wrong. Because those are just dumb words. That's a fucking dumb way to think. Taking these walks, and that's really the only thing I had to look forward to because I was so depressed. And that really the problem was the anhedonia is really what does it. And that's like almost a specific symptom to this stimulant withdrawal. And so it was a little rough. And then I went to visit some friends, drove down to DC to visit a friend, went on some hikes with some other friends. Started to shake it off a little bit. I had isolated myself. So at this point, I had isolated myself in the beginning and just got hit with a whole bunch of shit, dealt with it, took it in, started these walks, started to kill the anxiety and tire me out. And it was like if I could make it to 7 p.m. or 8 p.m., it was like I won. Like I made it to the evening. So then I'd take like a sleeping pill, knock myself out, and try again the next day. That went on for a while. And then I ran out of sleeping pills. And then I stopped needing them. I started to sleep like on my own. Then I noticed I was able to sit still through a whole movie, and I'm like, I'm really getting better. I'm getting a little more calm. And I did that, and then so then I went and I had a little bit of socializing here and there with some friends, and that really helps. And that really helps. And then I noticed some people at work are like, you're a little different now. And I'm like, what do you mean? I don't know. You're just a little different. And so I felt like I was maturing really fast. And at the same time, so the problem about maturing is like you get less funny. It sucks. I'm like, where's my sense of humor going? Usually I'm making people laugh. Because you're funny, it's like, because you're making fun of everything. You're like making fun of existence itself. Like you're funny because you don't give a shit. So now I'm giving a shit, and it's like, where's my sense of humor going? A little side note there. One thing I don't like about this shit. Where was I? I'm a little scattered today. Jumping all over the place. Probably repeated some shit a bunch of times. So I started to socialize a little bit. You know, just kept going. You know, the cigarettes were, I was smoking fewer cigarettes each day. Breaking down the sugar a little bit. Like, cause I couldn't eat for a while. So I would drink chocolate milk. I'd drink like a half gallon of chocolate milk a day because it's sweet. So if you're not hungry, you can still eat sweet shit regardless. And it's got packed full of calories. So I was doing that. Then, like, before I know it, like, I bought little knickknacks and shit, like little sign that says home sweet home. I bought another one that says enjoy the little things in life. You know, and the picture I'm trying to paint here is I started to calm down. I cook my own meals now. I started to settle a little bit. And I noticed that, like, I got home from work the one day, got on my computer for a little, and then went to bed and forgot about the cigarettes. I forgot to pack a bowl. I almost wanted to get out of bed and pack one quick. It felt weird, like something was off. But I forgot to, because I just didn't care about that shit. And that's what I was told. Eventually, these distractions, as they were described to me, not addictions, but distractions, that you'll lose interest in them after a while when you calm down, which is basically what's happening. But now this is like, I'm telling the story real fast. Like, there were points where I thought I was golden. I finally got through it, and then another wave would hit me. Bam, I'm right back where I started. And then I thought I got over it. Then another wave hit me, and then another wave hit me. And it was like back and forth, back and forth. It was crazy. And then, so I told my one buddy, I was like, dude, I was depressed yesterday. And today, the very next day, I'm happy. And I got all scientific about it. I'm like, you know, I wonder what's causing all these fluctuations in my mood and this and that, like brain chemicals. And he starts laughing. He's like, those are called emotions, dude. I'm like, this is normal. Like, this happens. Like, what happened when I went to bed that I went from depressed to happy? It's like, those are emotions, man. Like, that's when I realized I'm getting better, but I have no fucking idea what to expect. So then what I kind of did suspect is that, you know, everything wasn't all fucking peachy. Yeah, I started to get better, but then I realized better was fucking some horrifying shit. Couldn't depend on anything. Like, I would feel good, and then I would feel horrible, and then good, and then horrible. And it would just be up and down. And this is like what normal life is, I guess. Maybe not. Maybe it's like, I think what's going to happen is I'll be up and down and up and down and up and down, and then I'll start, kind of leveling out more. But I'm finding interest in things. And like, I know some of the days where it got real bad, my goal shifted to just surviving and getting through the night. And those were some of the bright spots. In these situations, there's certain moments and certain times where everything seems a little bit okay. And then you don't know really why. And then it sinks again. Well, those are called bright spots. And you're supposed to pay attention to that shit. Basically so you can replicate it. Or try for it. Anyway, so what I'm noticing, these certain days where it got real bad in my head and my goal shifted to just trying to survive the day, I managed to switch my mood. And it was like almost out of survival, but what I started to notice is those days my expectations dropped. I lowered my expectations. And then so a light bulb went off in my head. I'm like, I expect too much shit. As a partier, I expect every fucking day to be awesome. Some awesome shit's gonna, I don't care if it's Monday night and I gotta work Tuesday. It's like some awesome shit's gotta fucking happen. I get so excited when I get off work, or if I had a couple days off work, I'd get so excited I couldn't contain myself. And that's kind of like the problem. And I get impulsive, and I was like almost like out of body watching myself do shit. So I started to calm down and lower my expectations and just notice little shit. And then like sometimes like the smallest thing will just make me smile. If sometimes like some just little shit I see, I just start laughing to myself. And I'm like, there's beauty in this shit. Every day's not fucking Hershey Park. I can't expect shit. I just have to observe shit and suck the fucking better parts out of it and absorb them. Try not to think so much. When I have too much time to myself, I'll think a whole lot. And if you think a whole lot, you're bound to think of something negative. And for me, I just attract to that. And it tears me apart. So when I'm doing shit that's constructive, which you got to stop partying, man, to fucking get in that zone. That's when the thoughts go away. The ruminating thoughts, they start to lessen. And I start to feel free from this weight that I always carry with me. All this excessive anxiety. And right now the depression's starting to wear off. It might be like a year till my brain kind of fully resets. This is all fucking shit that I thought you just slept it off, man. And like, this is all stuff I didn't know. But things are looking up, man. Things are getting better. I mean, I think, And I was completely over the one thing, and I had a dream where this thing popped back into my head. I entertained it too long, the thought, and then it spread like a virus back into me. And it took me another whole couple weeks of dealing with the same shit right back where I started to overcome it again. But I think this is actually normal. The waves, shit comes and goes in waves. You don't just wake up and flip a light switch and be like, I'm better now. And each time a wave hits, it stays for less time and it's less severe. And that's basically what happens. And I'm going to master this skill, this mental skill, as time goes on. And a lot of this shit I'd been keeping it to myself inside my head, and then went hiking the one day with my buddy, dumped all this shit on him. Couldn't shut up about it, but I had to, speak. And went to my dad's birthday party that day, and then that night went bowling with some friends. And I smiled, man. I had a good time, and I forgot about everything. I was just bowling with some friends, man. Everybody, all three of us fucking that were bowling, had all been through a lot of shit, man. All three of us, man. You know, life sometimes can chew you up and spit you out. And whoever the fuck's watching this probably had that happen to him. I think it happened. That shit happens to everyone, man. So that's why I'm not just trying to talk about myself so much. I am to a degree because I need to get shit out of my head sometimes. But it's like, you guys been through shit that sucked. Maybe not the same shit. And it fucking knocked you over. Maybe it took you out. Maybe it did take you out and you're done. But, maybe it took you out for a little bit. Who knows? You could have been better equipped mentally to deal with it than me. So for me, this was all a big fucking mess. A big ball of madness. I'm trying to break it down and digest it. But that night bowling with the other two friends of mine, I felt good. We just bowled and just joked around. Didn't talk about nothing serious. And I knew all three of us had had pain inside, and it didn't. And it's like I felt like it's time to move on and hang out with different people, and we're all in this together type shit. So kind of calmed me down a little bit. And here I am. And like my therapist said, I pretty much just did the impossible. She said in her 20 years of having patience, it is extremely abnormal for someone daily use of multiple stimulants and alcohol daily, all that shit, like fucking 3-4 things daily. It had been going on for a while, just to be like, fuck that, stop instantly, go through a breakup at the same time. And that any one of those things alone can take you a long time. Depending how fucking bitter you get, could take up the whole rest of your whole life. I know people that, like 20 years past, they're still talking about that same fucking bitch that destroyed. Like, it's just dumb. Like, you can get over that shit. This situation was a really nice person, by the way. But anyway, I'm not fucking here to talk about other people. I just, like she said, like, it's very rare to someone to just snap out of it like that and conquer all that shit at once. And that's why it was so severe for me. So she said, you just kind of basically took it all on. And that's not, that's pretty fucking good. Be happy where you are. Like, be proud of my achievements. And I've learned that one of my issues was like, if somebody does something, I don't know how to explain it. The shit people do to me has nothing to do with me. Like, all the horrible fucking people that have done horrible shit to me, none of it had anything to do with me. All the nice people that just like seemed to get bored of me had nothing to do with me. None of it. Even them reacting to things that I did wrong. It's just everyone's got their own prerogative. Everyone's got their own goals and their own way of living life. If you happen to run into someone that you click with and you got the same goals, then there you go. I haven't had that happen yet. But that doesn't even matter. That's not even the point. None of that shit is. The point is, what do I fucking want to do? And what I want to do has to do with me. Doesn't have to do with other people. And what they want to do has to do with them. I'm just like a character. I'm just like a character in everyone else's fucking movie. Basically. You know? I'm like popping up with cameos and shit. And then I'll be a main character someday for somebody or not. And that's the thing too. If I grow old and I'm single the rest of my life, I at least, if I know how to, these skills I'm using, it won't even matter if I learn how to just accept the life as it is and learn to laugh at them little things and shit and be content. Every day is not a fucking head rush. As I finish my energy drink. Ghost, Swedish fish. Done. So that's what's been going on with me. Captain's log. Whole bunch of crazy fucking shit happened. I'm trying to deal with it. I'm trying to tell you guys how I dealt with it. Taking them miles and miles walks at the park was basically the only thing holding me together at one point. So guys, if you're dealing with a bunch of shit and have a lot of depression, here's my advice: is try to wake up with the sun. When you're a partier, you tend to stay up all fucking night. I mean, you don't think it's a big deal, but try to wake up with the sun and go to bed when it gets dark, and try to exercise. You don't have to do shit that is uncomfortable. You don't have to do cardio like on a treadmill. Just take a walk. But take a long fucking walk. Drink like 10 coffees first and just take a long walk. Every day, just keep doing it. That, like, for me, that was the only thing I had to look forward to for a while. The only thing I cared about was taking that walk. Sounds kind of weird, like it brought me through it, man. I had some kind of, because I wanted some kind of routine. I didn't have a routine, so I threw that in there. I like, walking's easy. Anyone can do it, unless you're disabled. Anyone can do it. That's why I did it. I didn't want to, it's not something super intellectual or something super difficult mentally. It's just a fucking walk that held me together. Waking up in the morning, going to bed at night, that held me together. Trying to focus on what's around me, looking at specific things to not get stuck in my head, fill my time up. Try to fill your time up so you don't get stuck in your head. The more free time, the more you think, the worse it gets. And that's the rub. Crown of Thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Double A. Stage 1, recovery. Fucking ruminating thoughts, man. I can't believe that shit was that fucking simple. She's like, you're scanning for threats. You're scanning your area for threats. All the years I've thought about what the hell that shit was. It's like post-traumatic stress. That's what the ruminating thoughts are, man. So don't try to look through your whole entire past. Okay, the damn shirt under here is wrinkled as fuck. I've been staring at that this whole time. So don't think about like your past and any traumatic shit that happened in your past and how it's affecting you now, unless it was super severe. But you're basically wasting your fucking time. You're here now. What can you do to improve? Life ain't gonna be as good as you want it to be. How can you improve? What can you do now with what you have and where you are? Crown of Thoughts, AA. You guys have a fucking good day and try to be content.